OC – Storm Dice Mistral Seas Dice Set and Leather Pouch Giveaway. Mods approved. OC – Runic Dice Opalite Gemstone Dice Giveaway. Mods approved. DM banned me from playing as a cleric because I'm not religious IRL. Title says it all, but to be more detailed. BG3 has piqued my interest in DnD. I've always been a casual fan but never really had the energy to learn and play. After playing the game though, I'm convinced. My friend is a seasoned player and has a group of friends that have ran a campaign for 6 to 7 years and invited me to join to try it out as a guest character. I was stoked to play and rolled up a cleric, my favorite class to play in BG3. I learned the rules as best I could and made a short backstory for my character with a quirk that she is always saying prayers, thanking her goddess, and has rituals that she follows daily. Cliché cleric stuff, I thought. That was until the DM asked me if I was religious IRL. I said no and thought that it was a weird question to ask. The DM then says that I was appropriating religious culture and that I couldn't be authentic to my character because I don't believe in any real-life religion. I argued that this is a fantasy role-playing game, I can play whatever I'd like to play within reason. He accused me of being toxic and bans me from playing cleric and makes me roll up a human fighter. Far from what I actually wanted to play, all because it was easier for a first-time player. Is this normal behavior from DMs? I wasn't trying to appropriate any specific religion, just what I had seen and absorbed from BG3. I was super stoked to play for the first time, but this left a very sour taste in my mouth. My friend just shrugged it off and said it was the DM style. Do people take role-playing that seriously? Should I stay away from cleric for that reason? Edit 1. Loud and clear. This was not normal. I won't be returning to the table. I've seen some folks saying that he was justified if I was intentionally being offensive, which was never my goal. Or that there might have been some religious people at the table that would have found it offensive. I genuinely wanted to just play my TAV from BG3 in a DnD setting, and I always choose the cleric blah 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 option in conversations in-game and just wanted to roleplay that in person at a table. Also, I 100% get that playing as a fighter probably would have been easier for me to play for the first. I was told that if I understand BG3 spellcasting, it's fairly similar to how I would play on table. I legitimately have no idea if I was set up for failure from the get-go. Is this normal behavior from DMs? Not at all. That sounds like a terrible situation, and it seems like the DM has it out for you for some reason. I would be wary of it getting worse. That DM is a dumbass and wrong. Sorry that your first experience is that asshole. Clerics, and other spellcasters, are more difficult to play for first-time players due to the spellcasting system, but that's more of a warn the newbie thing, not a no play a human fighter thing. Tell the DM he's a twat and go down to your local game store. You should be able to join a game there. Run far away from that group. That is a bad DM. That's not normal at all. I've DM'd for many new players. I may make suggestions for classes that are easier for beginners, but I always let them play whatever they want. And I certainly never do stupid shit like tell an atheist, agnostic they can't play a cleric. I really hope you can find a different group to play with, because that does not represent all DnD groups. My DM thinks turn-based combat isn't just a game mechanic, but something we actually do. So obviously, in-game turn-based combat is the only way to do things. If we didn't, we'd be screaming over each other like wild animals. During a time-sensitive mission, the DM described a golem boarding a location that I wanted to enter. I split off from my party members, as my character often did, to breach the area. Don't worry. My party has a sending stone with my name on it. We knew the dungeon would begin to crumble when we took its treasure, so the party said they'd contact me when the process began. Insert a fight with a golem guarding a poison-filled stockpile I wanted to enter. The party messaged me before I was done and said the 10-minute timer had begun. Perfect. I have a scroll of Dimension Door, and this felt worth wasting it on. I was going to wait until the very last second. Well, the golem was described as getting weaker, and because its attacks rely on poison, to which I was immune, the fight wasn't going well for him. So, he decided, on his turn, he was gonna do nothing. I laughed and began describing my turn because doing nothing means he's turn skipping. The DM stopped me and began laughing as the golem described that as long as he doesn't move, they're both stuck there. As he doesn't plan on ending his turn. I asked what the canonical reason for me just sitting there and letting this happen is. The DM said, combat is turn-based. You can escape outside of your turn. And said that this was the true trap of the golem. Then just moved on. I was confused about what was going on as the DM described, before I could contest, the temple falling apart. I rolled death saves. A nat 1 and a 7. I was just dead, because apparently, this is like Pokémon. According to the DM, my Yuan Ti poisoner is a polite little gentleman, taking his kindly patience and waiting for the golem he planned on killing, then robbing, to take his turn. Being openly told he doesn't plan on doing anything and still just standing there and waiting. I have to think you're trolling us here, because that might be the worst ruling by a DM I've ever heard. I can't imagine anyone thinking that is even remotely correct. This is so stupid I kinda think you've made it up for laughs. Like, there's no logic here, it totally kills the role-playing part of the role-playing game to such an extent that I would never be able to take anything they run seriously ever again. I push my enemy into hazardous terrain and then don't end my turn, they burn to death. I am a warforged. Every fight takes 100 years as I wait for my opponents to die of old age as they cannot escape the fight. Does the DM even like you? Did they come up with this just to kill off your character? It's so dumb and immersion breaking that I'd leave on the spot, honestly. Even just the basic misunderstanding of how turns work, as you say, it's a simulation. Someone played Undertale recently. That was what this was reminding me of. But yeah, it only works in Undertale because the whole game is meta-commentary on its nature as a game. In OP's case it's just dumb, on so many levels.